Unfortunately, a lot of pop punk can be boiled down to I suck, you suck, he sucks, she sucks, they suck, we all suck. This genre is just hopelessly addicted to playing the blame game. Do it wrong and you end up with songs that don't have the depth to stick with you, or worse, they come across as whiny, self-pitying nonsense. When bands do it right, though, they're able to craft a song or album that feels, dare I say it, deep. Because while blame is a poison to self-acceptance or forgiveness, it's also a stepping stone towards taking responsibility and growing as a person, as is explored very often in pop punk. So let's dive into the flavors of blame that you'll see a lot in this genre. Self-blame is pretty common, for better or worse. A band like the Wonder Years dips into this territory often, and I find their approach to self-loathing pretty tactful. Lines like, "It's been years since I've been low like this, I don't like me," can steer towards the cringy side of self-pity in a vacuum, but in the context of Hum Goes On Forever, it's just a beat in the story rather than the entire crux of the album. And the Wonder Years throughout their careers have shown the self-awareness that self-loathing can be just a part of their brand. It's why their unofficial slogan isn't "I'm sad," it's "I'm not sad anymore." But that is not the case for a band called Youth Fountain, who haven't found much to be hopeful about in their 2 full-length albums. Youth Fountain gets dark and stays there. At face value, the lyrics of Youth Fountain seem a tad bit over the top. But Tyler's vocals, which sound like they're always on the verge of breaking or missing a note completely, are sang so viscerally, and the songs are paced so relentlessly that it somehow makes the lyrics work perfectly. But Tyler's frustration is directed at himself. Often bands in this scene will instead direct blame at a very specific person. This is very prevalent in the big players of sad boy pop punk. I'm talking about finger pointing, "how could you do this to me" attitudes. It may be the least subtle flavor of blame, but for some reason it resonates, and these bands are very, very popular. Perhaps it speaks to the common attitude of a teenage fan, that the world is out to get you. This attitude comes out in the form of songs that are less about self-reflection and more about raw, reactionary angst. I mean, listen to these lines from some of the biggest names in sad boy pop punk right now. "You don't deserve what you haven't earned. It already hurts, you're making it worse. Where's your respect?" Yelling at people who wronged you is far from a healthy approach towards healing, but there's something about calling out bad behavior that feels good in the moment. Even though it's cathartic, it's not a great look to always be dishing out blame, and for that reason I think bands tend to grow out of this sound and start to look inward instead. But there's one more place they can direct blame, and that's at society. Often this comes out in the form of a political album like Green Day's American Idiot in an attempt to critique or provide commentary on injustices of the system. Where American Idiot is often angry at the world, an album like Brave Faces Everyone by Spanish Love Songs is simply overwhelmed by society. They're on the verge of giving up on the world rather than hoping it can change, expressed simply yet relatably by a vocalist who constantly sounds on the verge of tears. Neck Deep has literally made an album called Life's Not Out to Get You, a mostly optimistic take on getting through life's hardships. But an album like Brave Faces Everyone can't find anything worth living for in a world that's burning down around them. It's not about everyone putting on a brave face because we're all going to get through this together. It's about putting on a brave face because the water is rising and we're all going to drown. Which version you prefer is, of course, up to you. But I think it's neat that both mindsets are explored in this genre. And I even like that the mindsets can be mocked by bands in the same scene. Take these lines from the band Drug Church. Because no matter what, no matter how deeply we resonate with some of these depressing topics, it's probably best that we don't take ourselves too seriously. Thanks for watching.